Good evening, humans. Tonight I have a scary cryptid story from South Carolina based on true events. Here is the story. A lizard man of Scape or swamp. I never believed the stories about the lizard man even when I was a kid growing up in Bishopville. People treated the sightings like local folklore, fun to tell around bonfires. Scary enough to keep little kids from wandering into the swamp at night. They talked about the creature that supposedly attacked a teenager's car in the 80s. They talked about glowing red eyes in the dark, about something 7 feet tall crawling out of Scape or swamp during storms. I thought it was all nonsense until the night I found out it wasn't. It happened last summer. I had just gotten a job delivering parts for an auto shop. Most of the routes were local. Small towns, long stretches of road, nothing unusual. But people always warned me, don't break down near Scape or swamp. If your car starts acting up on Highway 15, turn back. Stay away from the marsh after dark. I laughed it off. And then one evening, my last delivery kept me out later than planned. I took a wrong turn trying to save time, and before I realized it, I was driving straight past the swamp. The sky was bruised purple, fading to black. Heat lightning flickered without thunder. The air smelled like mud, moss, and something rotten underneath. Even with the windows up, I heard the insects loud, constant, buzzing like electricity. Just 5 more miles, I muttered. Then my engine sputtered. Once, twice. The lights dimmed. Not now, I said, hitting the gas. The engine coughed, clicked, and died. I coasted to the side of the road, where the trees grew thickest, twisted. Old cypress leaning over the asphalt like they wanted to swallow it. Perfect. My phone had 1 bar, then none. Then I stepped out. The heat hit me like a wall. Swamp hummed. The air felt heavy, like the world was holding its breath. I popped the hood, steam hissed out. A sweet, burnt smell hit my nose. The radiator hose had split wide open. You're fixing that out here, I sighed, grabbed my flashlight and looked up and down the silent road. That's when I heard it, a splash. Not a frog, not a fish, something heavy, something large. It came from the shallow water just beyond the tree line. I scanned with my flashlight, but the beam barely cut through the thick humidity. Another splash, closer. My skin crawled. Hello? I called, hating how shaky my voice sounded. Anyone out there? The insects went silent. All of them. Every cricket, every cicada, every buzzing thing stopped at once, a blanket of supernatural silence that made the hair rise on my lungs. Then came the breathing, wet, slow, heavy, right beyond the ditch. I aimed the flashlight at the sound, and that's when I saw the eyes. 2 glowing red orbs staring from the shadows, reflective, unblinking, set far apart like a predator's. At first I thought it was an animal, then it stepped forward. My breath caught in my throat. The creature was massive, easily 7 foot tall, maybe more, covered in dark green scales that glistened in the beam of my flashlight. Muscles rippled beneath the skin like braided cables. Its hands were long, clawed, webbed between each finger, and its jaw was wider than a man's, splitting in a way that didn't look natural, lined with teeth like broken glass. It hissed, a sound low and deep enough that I felt it in my chest. I stumbled backward, dropping my flashlight. The beam rolled across the ground and caught the creature full in the face. It didn't flinch. In fact, it stepped towards the light. Then it sniffed the air, long and deliberate, and I realized it was smelling me. I turned and ran. Branches whipped against my face as I tore down the road. I didn't look back. I could hear it behind me, heavy footsteps, wet claws slapping against asphalt, a guttural bellow that echoed through the trees. I sprinted towards the truck. My only thought was to get inside, lock the doors, Pray the engine magically started again. I reached the door, yanked it open, and threw myself inside. The creature slammed inside the side of the truck. The creature slammed into the side of the truck, metal buckled inward. The whole vehicle rocked so hard I thought it would flip. I hit the lock button, screaming, "Go, go, come on." The creature crawled towards the passenger side window. Its massive clawed hand gripped the frame, and the glass began to crack beneath the pressure. Its face leaned in close, red eyes glowing, teeth glistening, scales scraping against the window in long, deliberate strokes. It hissed again, slower this time, almost curious. I grabbed the only thing I could find, a heavy metal flashlight, and slammed it against the dashboard out of sheer panic. The noise startled it. The creature jerked backward, tilting its head. For a split second it was still. Then lightning flashed behind it, illuminating the entire swamp in white. In that brief flash I saw it clearly, a towering reptilian humanoid with a long tail dragging through the mud, powerful legs bent like a crocodile's, and scars across his chest like it had survived battles no animal should have. The thunder boom shook the truck, and that's when the creature roared. It wasn't a human roar or an animal's, it was both and neither. A terrible primal sound that felt older than the swamp itself. It lunged, the window shattered. I screamed and kicked at the gear shift, trying desperately to start the dead engine. The creature reached inside, claws clicking inches from my arm, and then headlights appeared behind me. A horn blared. The creature recoiled, hissing violently, then leaped into the trees with impossible speed, vanishing into the swamp. A pickup truck screeched to a stop behind me. Man leaned out the window. "You all right?" he shouted. I couldn't speak, could hardly breathe. I could only nod. He climbed out, shining his flashlight across the destroyed metal on the side of my truck. His face went pale. You saw it, didn't you?" I swallowed. "What was that?" He lowered his voice. "The reason we don't drive this stretch after dark." He looked towards the swamp, then back at me. "That's the lizard man." I called a tow truck. The driver took one look at the claw marks embedded deep in the steel and refused to talk about it. My boss didn't believe a word of my story until he saw the damage. Even then he told me never to mention it again. But I know what I saw, the glowing eyes, the scales, the strength, the breath steaming in the humid night air, and sometimes when storms roll over Bishopville and marsh starts to stir, I swear I hear that low, rattling hiss drift across the water. The lizard man is real, and Scape or swamp isn't just a place you get lost in. It's a place that hunts. Did you find that spooky? If you did, like and subscribe. Have a scary night and spooky nightmares.